Catch me if you can, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Catch Me If You Can, saw it, great movie. But Moriarty, why is second season of your anime so goddamn trash? I didn't want to make this. I legitimately didn't want to make this review because first season of the anime was actually, I liked it. It was actually really good, all things considered. Yes, it was cheesy at times, a little stretched, but imagery and characters and some plots were really interesting to me. But then second season starts and, well, it literally doesn't have any of the things I just mentioned. It follows a completely different path, characters are all different, like Moriarty's barely in this season. Anime has a ton of source material behind them, which is high rated, which I guess people like, but it feels like second season was made by a completely different person who has no idea what to do with this anime. Okay, let's dive into it since I already watched it and at least I can make some content out of it. As a quick recap, this anime is about Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty and their shenanigans, but in here Moriarty is a good guy, unlike in the books. And basically he saves poor people from the evil rich people by punishing the ones who are in the wrong. But later about that. So the second season of Moriarty the Patriot anime starts not with Moriarty, the main character. It starts with a story about Sherlock, Watson, and Irene Adler. Basically, Irene comes to Sherlock disguised as some, foreign prince, gives them a shit ton of money, and says that Irene herself stole something from this prince. Of course, it's all a charade, as it's later revealed that she actually did steal something of value, but actually from the English government.
Classified documents, intriguing.
Anime also tries to give me some fan service with woman almost naked body in the bath, but raise a hand who's watching Moriarty the Patriot for ladies and not for men. Yeah, that's what I thought. Of course, Sherlock thinking he's really smart. I'm saying thinking because he's not actually really smart. Sherlock goes to Irene's house in order to recover a stolen item, but she just starts a fire, blaming Sherlock for it.
What a terrible turn of events. The world's greatest detective will have to answer for this.
And just like that, for a comedic scene, world's greatest detective just becomes a total idiot. Okay, basically, as a result of the scene, Irene has to leave with Sherlock now because, well, she doesn't have a house anymore. They later explain that she did that because Sherlock is kind of popular and everybody in London are interested in his persona, therefore being with him is gonna give her protection because this something that she stole is gonna put all criminals on her. However, again, I don't know why Sherlock just goes along with it instead of, well, I don't know, asking his brother who works in government to take care of her or something. Like, bruh, they spend the next entire day walking, shopping, and he for some reason just does whatever she says. Sherlock Holmes, yay! On top of that, later they meet some girl who's randomly being bullied by some other people who Irene and Sherlock ended up saving because she falls in the river and starts drowning.
Yeah, okay.
And okay, I get it that they're trying to establish this character as a good person, even though she's a thief. But what's freaking hilarious about this scene is that they're both in 17th century dresses, which, bruh, good luck not drowning when you have them. And second, this dirty-ass toilet-looking water has the visibility of glass when she's swimming in it. Like, come on! But then Irene proceeds to give a speech that you should not bully a girl who wants to become an actress because she herself was able to become an actress just by using her talent. And then if you're talented enough, it doesn't matter what kind of people you're facing, it doesn't matter if they have connections, you can still become popular and blah 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 if you are talented enough.
You must prove that you are the right choice by letting your own talent shine through.
Which is really weird because Mycroft mentions that she literally sleeps with people to get leverage and to get set in life.
Prima donna, the Imperial Opera of Warsaw, but secretly she's a courtesan with a multinational clientele of nobility.
So, what she does right now is she just fucking lying to that girl because she gives them advices she doesn't even follow herself. Bravo! Great character, everyone! Like, it feels like Mycroft mentioning that she sleeps with royalty is only there because it was in the books. And the anime kinda ignores it because, like I said, later on, she's just a good person. Everybody kinda just ignores that she doesn't follow her own rules. Also, I know that her name is technically pronounced Irene Adler or something, but
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I'll be okay.
Oh yeah, by the way, speaking of Mycroft Holmes, afterwards he randomly shows up and shoots Sherlock in the face. With a fake gun, of course. Come on, the anime isn't over yet. You cannot escape that easily.
Fake gun and everything.
I'm actually here to give you a warning, Sherlock. Beware of women, dear brother.
Beware of them.
And that's literally it. He then leaves. Bruh, again, I really don't want to compare characters the whole video, but that's, again, kind of a miss for this character. You see, in books, Mycroft was explained as more or less a lazy guy who doesn't want to leave his room. Most of the time, he helps other people in the government form a certain policy by them describing all the situations and details to him personally. And using his high IQ, he tells them what to do and how to do the better strategy. But in this case, he's literally Sherlock. Like, they are the same character pretty much. The only difference is Sherlock is kind of quirkier, and that's about it. Then you would have thought that we finally gonna move on to Moriarty, you know, the main character, but no, we're gonna follow Irene for a little more. She goes to a party where the murder mystery kinda happens, but turns out it was an actual murderer because... what's his name again? I literally keep forgetting their names. What the hell is this review? Albert! Albert, who's barely in the show, actually turned out to not only host this party, but also cause a murderer of some random guy, who is, I guess, also rich and evil, but the funniest part is when he gets poisoned, nobody gets it serious because he was being murderer in, like, the murder mystery. Like, he's basically a mafia in the mafia game, and everybody thought he was just acting it out. Like, this is supposed to be dramatic, but I was literally laughing the whole scene.
Hamming it up. You can stop acting already.
Okay, basically, then Albert meets up with Irene and tells her that he's a crime lord.
It can't be.
Yes, the Lord of Crime.
Little note, William was orchestrating deaths of rich people all this time and therefore got known as a crime lord. Basically somewhat of a Robin Hood who murders rich people when they committed something bad. So Albert says that the crime lord can protect Irene and whatever she stole. Basically, I guess if she just gives the stolen item to them. Meanwhile, Sherlock causes a little scene, actually being smart for once, pretending like somebody robbed them in order to find whatever Irene stole. That way, he tricked her into revealing those stolen papers. And okay, I was interested what kind of papers those are gonna be, because in different Sherlock Holmes adaptations, it's always something different. In the original books, it was the schematics of the submarine. In Sherlock series, it was nuclear codes or something. And in here is documented proof that Britain set up a French Revolution.
Tactical plans.
The British Empire had a hand in manipulating the French Revolution from the shadows.
Every revolution, man, every revolution starts with a moment like this, man.
Basically, now they have to meet up with Crime Lord, where Irene said she'll gonna give him the papers. But Sherlock wants to use this opportunity in order to reveal Crime Lord's face.
Our options are running thin.
What options? I'm not hearing any options.
Sherlock, of course, finally acting smart, called a bunch of police officers to the meeting, even though he said they're gonna come alone. But unfortunately, since William has plot armor on his side, he just successfully gets away with papers, and later on meets with Mycroft, revealing what's been his actual plan all along, which is, well...
So you need to get ready for this because it's so fucking unbelievable.
So it turns out he just basically wants the crime lord to become such an evil everybody in the city will want to unite against him.
As for our ultimate objective, rid the world of tyrants and bring equality to our homeland.
Which will somehow solve the inequality between rich and the poor? Not sure why he needed plans for French Revolution to figure this out. In fact, we're not even gonna see anything from those documents in the anime. So what was the point of this whole shenanigans with French papers, if even with them plan doesn't sound too smart? Like, okay, maybe people will unite because they have a common enemy. But what stops them as soon as this enemy is gone? Just go back to the system they had before. And on top of that, Mycroft just agrees with him for some reason. Like, okay, maybe he thought that allowing William to work under the government is better to just let him loose, but still, like, none of this is pre-established, and one of the smartest people in the series is acting like a total dumbass. Like, bruh, you're not Mycroft Holmes after that, you're Minecart Holmes, you're just going with whatever path you're on. Like, what the hell hell is this? Seriously. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, some animes have to have a stretchy plot, I get that. Anime, just like all the art, doesn't have to be realistic. But not when you're including actual real-life events! Because they actually mentioned the French Revolution that happened, they actually mentioned country, cities, situations, and real-life events that happened, and then expect us to believe that it all could have been solved. If William was actually there and he was doing all his schemes, like in our reality, then it would have worked. There would have been no inequality and, like, really.
If you wish to sacrifice yourselves in an act of patriotism, go ahead. I have no intention of interfering.
Stop coming up with lame, pseudo-intellectual reasons for everything.
First season had none of this crap. It was telling single stories in how William was able to help random people by punishing the rich who stepped over the line and helping the poor who needed his help. But what was really interesting is that William really seemed more like Moriarty from the books. Legitimately, sometimes I had that feeling of evil instability in him. Like, he was actually pretending to be good, he just wanted to act evil and assert dominance and get more power by pretending to be good. But now it turns out he just wants to end inequality by
being stupid and ridiculous.
Let's see how he does it. Plot twist, by introducing more characters that are pointless to the story. So basically later, it's revealed that some guy known as Jack the Ripper appears in London and starts killing people. Well, actually, he killed 2 prostitutes. And that's it. It was enough for people to start rebelling against police, saying that they're useless and cannot protect them against the serial killer.
This whole district's a powder keg about to explode.
Of course, it turns out it was not part of William's plan. This murder was just some random guys doing murders. However, it turns out, and that's where anime gets really convoluted, Jack the Ripper is actually old teacher of William's, and he taught him and his brothers how to defend himself, and again, why is that even important? So when William wanted to use that advantage, and his plan was, he wants his old teacher to basically run around people, pretending like he's actual Jack the Ripper. Meanwhile, somehow, while he did it, that helped him to find actual serial killer who disguised himself as Jack the Ripper, which is really odd because they don't explain how he found it.
But how are we going to uncover the location of the rendezvous?
We'll consult military intelligence for answers. I'll need you to buy us some time, but I need you to hold out for 1 hour at the very minimum.
They just showed how police and citizens united in order to catch the murderer, and like, what's happening? Like, what's happening with the plot? Why is it so abrupt? Why stuff is just not explained and just happens randomly? First season was not like that. What's happening? Also, why is Gojo in this anime? And in addition, again, William already killed like a shit ton of rich people, and nobody really cared. In here, 2 prostitutes died to random Jack the Ripper, which caused people to rebel against police?
Our plan is ruined! The vigilantes and the yacht were just moments away from going at each other's throats. Oh, and kill the lights!
For your Jack the Ripper scheme, those women's souls cry out for vengeance.
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Okay, of course William just brutally kills everybody because that's the way of a smart person. Not use arguments to destroy them mentally, just stick them with the sword. And then, if they ran away, blow them up with dynamite. Which, how did he even make this trap with dynamite? Like, he just found their lair. When was he able to set up a trap in case they were able to run away? Like, that just happens out of nothing. By the way, I kind of forgot to mention it because it's kind of useless, but remember Irene Adler? Before that, she joined Moriarty's group, even though she doesn't even need to be there. Why is she there? And for some reason, she dressed up as a man and took the name James Bond.
My name should reflect that. The name is James Bond.
So in this alternative reality where Sherlock Holmes was a thing, James Bond also exists? Or did she just make that up? Okay, I will not question it. Meanwhile, while William's teacher is running away from everybody, police just gets a minigun. I'm not joking. They somehow got a minigun out of nowhere. I'm not even sure that gun existed. Although I don't really know why I'm questioning futuristic technology in this era. They literally had sniper rifles, which didn't exist, cars that didn't exist back then.
Where? Back to the future.
I'm not gonna surprised if nuclear rockets show up out of nowhere. Basically, they just start wasting ammo in order to kill William's teacher. However, then this scene happens.
That's your style. Ready.
What in the fuck is going on?
So, Irene throws a coin. And without saying anything, Sniper from William's team realizes that her plan was for him to shoot the bullet. It would bounce off a coin. I guess logic along with physics is dead. The bullet would bounce off the coin and somehow explode the minigun.
Absolutely no killing, and I'd like you to refrain from harming anyone as well.
What?
I'm of course exaggerating, the explosion wasn't that bad, it only killed logic and physics. And then, the season's finale, where, plot twist, another character shows up, because anime actually introduces us to Milverton.
What a farce. Imagine me, the king of blackmail, as being blackmailed.
In books, it was a really interesting character, master manipulator who was blackmailing politicians, regular people for his own amusement. And what was more interesting, in books, it was not enough for Sherlock to just use his deduction. He had to actually go out of his way, break into his house, and steal the letters in order to prevent blackmail, which was later used by Moriarty in order to threaten him. In this case, Milverton is more of a show-off. He does also blackmail characters, but for some reason, like literally, I guess he also does it for his own amusement, but he, for some reason, pretends like he has a point, but it's not really a point. In the anime, they literally parallel him with a snake from Bible, but if snake in the Bible at least forced people to eat an apple, this guy, well, the worst he can do is threaten to Watson that if they don't find some treasure, he's gonna reveal that his wife was a part of this French Revolution. But it's also revealed later that the worst she did is basically just handed out papers. So, like, what a horrible secrets you have, Master Manipulator.
Oh my god, this is a horrible story.
Okay, the next part of the anime I'm gonna cover really briefly because it's actually really boring. However, it ties to the finale, so I gotta mention it. Basically, remember how I said that all the villains are really undeniably bad, and pretty much there's no redeeming qualities for them? Well, we get introduced to a politician who's running for Senate or something, and he's literally the complete opposite. Like, he's pretty much the second coming of Jesus, that's just how good he is. Basically, we get this scene where he's opening a park, but other people in the Senate are lying to everybody and basically spreading false news. Saying he's a Satanist, he didn't do anything for the park, he wanted to burn it, and etc. Like, okay, again, those guys are so evil, they're literally laughing in the face of everybody with evil faces.
I was aware that both houses were at work behind the scenes making efforts toward bringing about...
But when this politician is able to defend himself, he just agrees with everything they said.
All of it is the truth.
He's a saint.
And then when people proceed to ask him why did he do such a thing, why did he humiliate himself and probably destroy his political career, he just looks and sees people on wheelchairs going into park, enjoying it because it was made just for them. Good job, it only took you 2 seasons anime until you started emotionally manipulating us? Do I even have to explain that literally anybody who would watch this scene will react the same way? They'll be upset because, well, children on wheelchairs. So basically their Albert comes by finally being useful in the story and gives this guy irrefutable proof that some people in Senate are very corrupt. And if this politician will leak this stuff to press, it will boost his career. Meanwhile, I guess I also have to mention that this politician tries to pass a bill, which is, let's just call it the Equality Bill, because basically it gets revealed if this bill passes, pretty much everyone is happy.
Yay for that.
The politician later goes to talk to Milverton, who is, I guess, the representative of Senate or something, and politician basically tries to blackmail him. If anybody in the government will try to fight his bill, then he's gonna leak this stuff to the press, and a lot of people are probably gonna lose their jobs. Milverton is, of course, unhappy with it, not with the fact, of course, that somebody in the Senate will lose his power, but with the fact that somebody blackmails him. when he's the one who should blackmail people. So he blackmails one of the police officers to kill politician's entire family. So this politician just kills him, and Milverton reveals that this was his plan to create evil, like he's gonna turn this really good person into a bad person. And once again, we have a character who doesn't even follow his own rules. He states that pretty much all of his actions are only done for his own amusement, but in here he clearly defends the Senate. I guess you can say he actually did it because he was pissed, like, because this guy tried to blackmail him, but I would say this is kind of stretched. Anyway, back to Sherlock Holmes. Remember how I said Milverton has blackmail papers about Mary? By the way, we get to see those papers, and there's the name Adolf right next to Mary's, but...
Oh, like Hitler?
That causes Sherlock to break into Milverton's house in order to retrieve mentioned paper. But turns out William is also there, and there was Milverton's great plan.
Such a shame there are no spectators to this comedy, the representatives of London's duality.
To put two greatest rivals in the same room, and basically make them shoot each other. There's only one small detail in his plan. He forgot that both of them don't care. So they just shoot him instead. And bruh, how did you not see that coming? Milverton's only contingency was to prevent them from shooting him is that William's real identity as a crime lord would be leaked to the press. Again, why would he care? He was killing rich people all along in order to present himself as an evil threat that everyone should unite to beat. So, like, really, you didn't see that coming? I guess there was also an interesting twist how when Sherlock finally sees that the crime lord is William, he says that he kinda saw it coming but just didn't want to admit it. Which finally, thank God, Sherlock actually acted smart again. But then the weird thing, after Moriarty's identity as a crime lord got leaked to press, he just goes on a rampage. Just kills more and more people. Like, I mean, they're presumably bad. But since he kills like several a day, I'm not even sure he was able to check if they're all actually evil. Or actually, bruh, how many bad rich people are in this city? Like, come on. Basically, William's end goal is to set up everything this way that Sherlock comes out victorious by making it look like he killed the crime lord, which, that's about it. He just literally waited until Sherlock came to the bridge where he's waited for him and then jumped off a bridge in front of everybody. Like, imagine people's faces, they just see how he himself falls off a bridge and Sherlock tries to catch him and they're like, oh yeah, Sherlock definitely did bit him, and it's totally not staged, it's definitely legit. On top of that, he set a city on fire, which apparently that's what he got from those documents about French Revolution. A fire! Wow, that was worth it, spending several episodes on those papers.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
The poor people in need for the water ask the rich people to let them to the river, which is for some reason guarded by their rich houses. But they told them, no, because we don't care about the fire. Excuse me?
Off with you! As if I would allow a rabble to set foot on my property.
So wait, you don't care that the fire is spreading around the city? Like, I get it, you're rich people, you don't care about the poor people problems, but you know the fire is not gonna stop, it's gonna kill all of you. Like, okay, let's for a second think that the fire is magically gonna stop only burning poor people's houses. What's gonna happen the next day? Who is gonna go to all the jobs? And on top of that, did you not think some of those poor people, by literally having nothing to lose, might group up and rob your house while you're asleep? Like, why is this conversation even there? This is so stupid.
No need to worry, though. Thankfully, all of the fires are confined to the slums.
Okay, I get that this anime tries to push the idea that rich people are bad people, but, well, that's just stupid. That's just idiotic. Of course, he later opens the gates and lets them take water from the river, which helps them to stop a fire from spreading, and shows some moment of unity where poor people and rich people unite in order to stop the fire. Which, again, it looks good, and the music, and nice music starts playing, but how is this supposed to prevent people from going back to inequality in the next 5 minutes? I don't know, I guess I'm not smart enough to understand this great plan. Anyway, the next day, after everybody stopped the fire, Crime Lord is presumed to be dead, Sherlock gets to meet the Queen, which he asks her to pass this bill. that the mentioned dead politician wanted to pass to end inequality.
One that would abolish the House of Lords' superiority over the House of Commons.
And the government, I mean the Queen, the royal family, they all listen to it. They literally just agree to something that stops the way things been going for centuries. They're just like, like really, the top of British Empire. And I remind you, the British Empire, not the Great Britain we have right now, the British Empire with a ton of colonies, the biggest army and fleet in the world, are just agreeing to lose some power because Sherlock Holmes asked them to. Okay, this is some bullshit. Not gonna lie, when I started watching this anime, I actually had high hopes, but at the end, those hopes are totally gone. Like I said, first season is probably worth watching because it actually wants to tell a decent story. The second one was to tell a decent story as well, but it has absolutely no idea how to give context or how to plan this story at all. Because it kind of expects us to know world history and just believe that if we go the certain way anime shows us, everything will just be happy at the end. Because the government wants to do good, just like everybody. It wants to give equality, you just gotta ask. So, like, what? At the same time, in second season, unlike in the first season, characters constantly contradict themselves, and some plots literally just go nowhere, which is definitely not good for storytelling. And I guess that's it. Like, subscribe, tell me in the comments how wrong I am, stay tuned for another review, and see ya.